Cost for rebuilding houses lost at 2.5 million kina. Judiciary farewells Justice Lenalia. And water policing support launched in Port Moresby.
This is National EMTV News with Meriba Tulo.
A very good evening. Thank you for joining us for Wednesday's news. The Hanuabada relief effort aims to reach a target of 2.5 million kina to construct houses and to repair other houses that were damaged by fire. A complete fire report is yet to be made on the incident. Meanwhile, donations have continued to flood in from church groups, business houses, government organizations and individuals.
It's been 4 days since these families lost their homes and belongings to the incident last Saturday. According to committee representative lawyer Samuel, it will cost 65 to 70,000 kina to construct a basic house over the water. Their target is to reach 2.5 million kina to construct new houses and repair houses damaged by the fire. Samuel said the cause of the fire is still unknown.
We are lucky to have one a very fireman come. He's a very senior officer within the fire department, so he's also organizing that as well. So we really need a fire reporter and maybe get to the bottom of how the fire started, so we can avoid what could have been a catastrophe.
Adiranu has come on board to assist the fire victims with technical relief at their own cost and also presented a 10,000 kina check to the Hanuabada relief this morning. Adiranu's Chief Operating Officer, Dr. Fifaya Maitan Naho, says moving forward from this tragedy, they hope to be included in the planning and developing of the reconstruction.
Stand pipes and some poly material, they're coming to make sure that the water goes into the people. Yeah. So, and that's what our people have already sent an advanced team to assess with the people here, how to make sure that we bring and deliver the service by attending to our, the laying of pipes and stand pipes, right from the beginning. And that's what we also envisage, that we can be part of, so that they can call us at any time. We can come in and together with the people there and find a more sustainable way, like laying off the network in here and making sure that water is rolled right throughout, and not only that, working with the fire service people to make sure those provisions are also in there that we...
Meanwhile, Town Fire Department told EMTV News that the cause of the fire has not been identified yet and has put a no-go zone to Hanuabada due to damages received on a fire truck from over the weekend. The Town Fire Department will not attend to fires without police presence. Merlin Diakotam, National EMTV News.
Families of the two police officers shot dead in Wabag during the counting period last month are issuing a 48-hour ultimatum to government authorities to visit the house cry in Mount Hagen or give a favorable response to their deaths. Yesterday, Tuesday, was the 1-month anniversary of when late Glenn Jimmy and Alex Copper were shot dead by armed men involved in election-related unrest. The families of the two policemen are demanding why there hasn't been any visitation by the government or the people involved in the shooting.
Harry Copper, the biological father of the Mobile Squad 6-member based in Hagen, late Alex Copper, said his son's death was cold-blooded because he was ambushed by a relative of the sitting Kandep MP. Anton Manasseh, who was later shot dead by police, was alleged to have used a M16 carbine rifle to gun down the two policemen. An investigation has since been conducted. However, Mr. Copper condemned such behavior of the power struggle between the Kandeps which led to his son's death.
Power struggling between Don Polio and Alfred Manasseh.
On the morning of Saturday, the 22nd of July 2017, the deceased late constables Glenn Jimmy from Jiwaka Province, Alex Copper from Chimbu Sepik parentage, and Constable Matthew Kasap from Medeng were shot at Wabek town by gunmen from Kandep. They were rushed to Wabek Hospital, but Glenn and Copper lost their lives during the process of stabilizing the bullet wounds before being medevaced to Port Moresby. Yesterday was the 1-month anniversary of leaving their wives, children and loved ones. It has come to the attention of their families that there was no word on the deaths or visit by the national government and Enga provincial government.
Traditional custom belum mibla na wat wanda en mibla ngalenga wanda mol chimbus o mibla chuagans. Na even or policeman go out wanda mol engans. Only come bro look at them go through election bro come up good na leaders but bien ken only time round come up kisem life lo tumla innocent policeman mibla family mibla savana.
The Jiwaka and Chimbu families of the fallen corpse have issued a 48-hour ultimatum for the government to give a favorable response on the death of the two corpses. Failure to comply will see them blocking the National Highlands Highway and causing chaos to the traveling public.
This one now, number 3 time we break all the media. So this way now making a patience from all leaders who were out like now all relatives long plus narble story. So maybe I've been able long hold him. This was something enough for the last 4 weeks.
The families are also appealing to the governors and MPs of Western Highlands, Jiwaka and Chimbu to work together to assist the outcry. They are also appealing for an independent investigation into the shooting. Vastinata Yama, National EMTV News, Mount Hagen.
Members of the Judicial and Magisterial Services paid their final respects to the late Justice Lenalia in a ceremonial sitting today. The late Justice Salatiel was Kokopo's resident judge until his passing last week. The sitting, held at the Waigani Court Complex, was attended by all judges, magistrates and lawyers in Port Moresby.
The casket of the late Justice Lenalia was escorted into Courtroom 1, where he was received by judges, magistrates, lawyers, including family and friends. Chief Justice Salamo Injia, who led the ceremonial sitting, spoke briefly of late Justice Lenalia's life as a judicial member.
Service on high court benches in Papua New Guinea began in 1996. When the Judicial and Legal Service Commission recognized his outstanding performance in Papua New Guinea and in Vanuatu and appointed him as an acting judge of the National Court for 2 consecutive terms.
The late Justice was born in 1957 and came from Namatanai in New Island Province. He served almost 41 years in the judicial service. He was admitted to the bar in early 2000 after serving as a local magistrate for some years.
18 years as a magistrate, serving in all 4 regions of Papua New Guinea. Then 3 years as a magistrate in Vanuatu. Then 1 year as a judge in Vanuatu. And 19 years as a judge in Papua New Guinea. 41 years of judicial service, to my knowledge, places him on record as the longest-serving judicial officer in Papua New Guinea and the first Papua New Guinea magistrate to be appointed as a full-time judge to the bench of the High Courts of Papua New Guinea.
Being the longest-serving member as a judge, Salamo highlighted that the late Justice was very committed to his duty while he was working under Salamo's leadership in Mount Hagen.
I had the privilege of working with the late judge in those years in Mount Hagen, where I was posted after I joined the bench in 1993. He served with me and under me in Mount Hagen with total dedication and commitment and performed to expectations.
His casket will be laid to rest in his own province. Thakla Gunga, National EMTV News.
Police work in maritime surveillance is hopeful of seeing improvements in the coming years. Today, the Royal Papua New Guinea Constabulary launched water police support equipment worth 7 million kina. Police Commissioner Gary Baki says this occasion signifies more improvements in the water police department.
It's another milestone for the men in blue to keep our waters safe from crime. This morning, equipment worth nearly 7 million kina was launched by Police Minister Jalta Wong. Police Commissioner Gary Bucky says the equipment launched is a collaborative effort in strengthening the relationship between the RPNGC and Australian Federal Police. Bucky says this will improve current efforts put into combating crime in maritime communities.
Basically, it's the build-up. Sooner or later, we'll be opening the new K9 cannons up in Bumana, and then the Police Operations Centre, which is all part of this assistance been given to us by AFP. So,
with APEC approaching, the boats and jet skis will not only enhance police work, but build up the capability of maritime surveillance throughout the country. Relevant training will be conducted in coming weeks for local staff at the Water Police Headquarters.
it's a very big step forward. What we have to do now is we need to get our people identified properly and bring them in for them to undergo training so that they can operate all these equipments that have been given to us. So for the RPNGs, it's a challenge in maintaining this and between now and APEC 2018.
The equipment includes 6 jet skis, 2 speedboats, land support vehicles, communication facilities and outboard boats. According to police, another 2 boats are being built in Brisbane and should arrive in the country.
As Commissioner, I'm very happy with the way the assistance has been provided so far.
Jack Lapave Jr., National MTV News.
An attempt to remove files and computers from the Moresby Provincial Government Office at about midday today was stopped by staff and security guards. Suspicious of movement, security guards stopped a group of people who had come to remove the files. A pile of boxes and files were removed from the vehicle just as it was being taken away. Security were not sure what was contained in the boxes until provincial government staff came to investigate. The files contained financial records and payment approvals. It has not yet been fully established who sent the men to remove the files. Police have also been alerted. A former convict is calling for urgent attention for remandees serving years behind bars. 36-year-old Tua Bureau says government agencies responsible must improve services for the many remandees serving time for no good reason. Mr. Bureau says many lack support but do not speak about it.
So Mr. Osem, it's been due, but I think this is part of a human right. Me like so in Papua New Guinea, Osem, you still make it right long, you must talk long rights by me. Me pining Osem, planted today or stuff of prison, they are innocent in prison. Very innocent people. 6 years, messed up, I mean classifying.
Here with National MTV News, we'll have more after these messages. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the news. 5 independent MPs have announced their move to join Pangu Party. This brings the number of Pangu to 16. Pangu Party leader Sam Basil welcomed the 5 inclusions, stating the move is critical and a bonus in keeping the O'Neill Able administration accountable.
The 5 independent MPs are led by Northwest MP Sam Mekere Morauta, Rigo MP Lekwa Gure, Wabek MP Dr. Lino Tom, Central Governor Robert Agarobe and Southfly's Seki Agisa. They say the move is a collective decision after consultation on party policies and benefit for the people and the country. Sam Mekere says the move solidifies the MP's position in the opposition team.
We stood together and we are very, very pleased to join Pangu. We believe in having strong political parties because that is where the stability will come from.
Pangu Party won 11 seats in the 2017 national elections. The 5 inclusion increases its total to 16. Pangu leader Sam Basil says Pangu will work as a bloc with its coalition partners like NA, PNG Party and PNG National Party to provide the alternate development agendas of the country.
We will work as a bloc to ensure that PNG benefits from a strong and a diverse opposition.
The members believe Pangu will provide the leadership in addressing issues faced by the country and keep the government accountable.
Provide a very strong and effective opposition, under the leadership of Honorable Patrick Pruitt, as our leader said.
According to Pangu leader, the party caucus will meet and finalize its 5-year development plan before early 2018.
Happy for Pangu to give us this opportunity to join them, and I believe we have a bright future ahead of us. Thank you.
Jack Lapava Jr., National EMTV News.
Former Mining Minister Byron Chan officially handed over the reins for the Mining Ministry to the new Minister Johnson Tuke this week. In welcoming Minister Tuke, Mr. Chan reflected on the achievements during his tenure in office, whilst at the same time encouraging the new Mining Minister to continue the support towards developing the mining industry in a positive way. Representatives from the Department of Mineral Policy and Geohazard Management, Mineral Resource Authority, as well as industry stakeholders gathered this week for the official handover-takeover ceremony for the Mining Ministry. Outgoing Minister Byron Chan, who was unsuccessful in his re-election bid for Namatanai Open in this year's national general elections, used the opportunity to highlight some key developments within the mining sector during his time in office.
I started to realize why the department and the people were so ignorant. Because at the end of the day, they were all about Papua New Guinea. And they were all the public servants trying to protect the country's interest, the interests of the state. And I was fighting the state's interests.
According to Mr. Chan, there are also challenges that still remain ahead for the new mining minister.
I also like to thank all those representatives of all those mining companies who we have rubbed shoulders, or actually banged shoulders and banged heads against each other. My apologies. I'm very grateful that the day has come that that the new minister, a friend that I know, is very capable of handling the situations that I've dealt with along the way.
New Mining Minister Johnson Tuke wasted no time identifying his priorities for the immediate future.
His leadership in the last term of government. The Mining Ministry has taken big strides under the leadership of Byron Chan in the review of the Mining Act, mineral policy, the upgrading of geohazard management's capacity in PNG. I salute your work.
With the mining sector a significant contributor to Papua New Guinea's revenue and with several big projects under review, Minister Tuke is adamant that the industry can work together to ensure maximum benefits for the people of Papua New Guinea.
I have directed the Department of Mineral Policy and Geohazards Management to work with the Mineral Resource Authority to develop a policy for the alluvial mining sector in PNG. There is a huge potential in alluvial mining that directly serves our people. And that potential has been tapped into so that we can properly regulate it, introduce safe practices, and maximize the benefits.
Public service skills training, public sector reforms and decentralization of functional powers are reforms the Department of Personnel Management will be undertaking to effectively implement the public service management system to ward levels. Public Service Minister Elias Kapavore highlighted this in a ministerial meeting with DPM executives this morning in Port Moresby. Erika Rupma reports.
Public Service Minister Elias Kapavore says the Department of Personnel Management will go through a structural reform to effectively implement public service mechanisms right down to ward levels. Minister Kapavore highlighted that one avenue to roll out this system is by integrating top administrative functions like vesting CEOs functions to DDA officers in district levels and assessing their performances.
The reforms are coming, getting the Alaska system, getting the DDAs, district development authority CEOs, equipping them with the HR powers to do their own HR functions at the district level. Make sure that the CEO is responsible, so that they can do their own recruitment, assess their own, do their own organizational structure review, do their own advertisement and recruitment, and do that discipline at the district level.
However, Minister Kapovore says the major impediment for public service institutions is unskilled public servants. This is something the minister, together with Public Service Commission, have been tasked to fix.
Working with PNG IPA, getting the private sector input and the development partners so we can work out what are the required skills level that we would like to see today in terms of development of our skills. Human resource heading in the future.
He says DPM will review some of its legislations to work alongside institutions like Department of Provincial and Local Government Affairs and Finance to effectively implement government services to rural areas.
We'll be working together with Provincial Affairs people, I think the Department of Finance and Treasury also. So establish that kind of the checklist on what we need to do for that system to roll out.
Eric Orupma, National MTV News.
The Independent Consumer and Competition Commission is striving to keep up with the increase in the number of electricity service providers in the country. In an effort to do so, the ICCC is holding a workshop that will inform regulation policy in the electricity industry in the country.
ICCC CEO and Commissioner Paulus Ein says the electricity industry has potential but needs better coordination.
The power electricity industry in Papua New Guinea is a sleeping giant. And the ICCC would like to see all the players and consumers to work together so that we need to reflect a cost of running, especially from the consumers and the business perspective. So we need to come up with a policy. There is a lot of policy around, but an intervention that will reflect the cost of business coming down over the years.
The workshop attracted both domestic and international industry players.
And almost everyone who produces power in Papua New Guinea are in the room this morning. And they will be sharing their experiences. And we also have consumers, major consumers like SP Brewery, who is sharing some very strong experience that they are not receiving the quality and the reliability of power supply, and they've gone abroad to bring in their own powers. So now they're supplying their own powers. So the confidence and the level of quality of power received by consumer, I think, is expressed by SP Breweries that is very low. So they would like to see some improvements in the power supply.
Reliable and quality electricity is a major cost to companies and consumers in the country, and all, like SP Brewery, are not satisfied with the current electricity service provided by PNG Power. Ein says they are now in the process of reviewing a regulation arrangement with the SOE.
We are reviewing what we call it a regulatory contract we have with PNG Power. So that contract captures all the cost of running PNG Power. And then we translate this one into a price. And that price reflects the entire system. And at the same time, we would be mindful about the cost of running a business as well. So we were trying to put in place a regulatory arrangement. And I think that has already commenced. So it will take us almost to normally 6 to 10 months.
Representatives of PNG Power are also attending this workshop, along with other government agencies. The electricity workshop started today and will end on Friday.
The purpose of us hosting is to receive feedbacks from those players and industry experts that we would like to put a policy document together and a regulatory framework in place so that we will try to assist the existing struggling the industry to move forward.
Sarah Aupong, National MTV News.
With the steady increase in the number of small to medium enterprises within the fisheries sector, the National Fisheries Authority has embarked on a program to train participants on how to process fisheries products in a more economical way. In Port Moresby this week, a group of fisheries SME operators are undergoing training on how to prepare the catch to ensure quality is maintained until it reaches their customers. With the National Fisheries Authority keen on developing small to medium enterprises within the fishing industry, the NFA organised for a group of SME participants to undergo training this week on different aspects of quality handling of various fisheries products. The training, facilitated at Island Seafood Limited, has enabled participants to get hands-on experience on the practical skills needed in the different stages of preparation. Among these stages, the all-important stage of correct processing. Today, it was about how to correctly process lobster tails. According to ASL trainer Lapun Wai, the skills taught this week are important as they will enable the participants to have an appreciation on the importance of getting the basics right in processing their catch.
Welcome na all train na welcome so mga animal lo catfish na lo lobster na roster prawns na mibla train lo mibla animal all basawe.
Upon completion of this week-long training, participants will then be able to go back to their operations and train their colleagues, passing on vital knowledge, which in the long run is intended to benefit the fisheries industry.
Bien kina okay all ba go out lo one map all ba work long all ba sawen na time all go work ni se all sawen long all ba ko na all making work tasona.
The week-long training is one activity that the NFA is conducting in the lead-up to the inaugural Pacific Seafood and Technology Exposition, which Port Moresby will play host to in September. Recent graduates hoping for a career with the Conservation and Environment Protection Agency will now have a chance to do so. The UNDP has sponsored 12 positions within SEPA for new graduates to work within the government agency. These positions are within the Donor Coordination and Engagement Division, Conservation and Policy Division, and the Geographic Infrastructure Systems. UNDP has allocated 440,000 kina to fund these positions. This arrangement is a result of the ban on public service recruitment, but SEPA needs capacity to progress priority activities. UNDP is currently working with SEPA on a protected areas bill. And now we take a look at the finance news. The kina closed unchanged at $0.3145 in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, your kina was buying $0.307, $0.384 Australian dollars, $0.2573 euro, and 33.32 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, gold and copper closed higher, while coffee and cocoa closed the day lower. Palm oil and copper closed higher, while crude oil closed the day lower. And on the stock markets, the Dow Jones closed 196 points higher, the ASX closed 12 points lower, and the All Ordinaries closed 12 points lower as well. Here with National EMTV News, after these messages, stories making headlines overseas. Stay tuned. Welcome back to National EMTV News. More than 200 settlers from a settlement in Leh, Moresby province are residing at the governor's official residence. They fled their homes at Sialum compound after a clash in September last year. The Law and Order chairman for Leh district has called on authorities to settle the matter quickly.
This group consists of people from Pinyu, Kabum and Sialum in Moresby province. They have been camping here at the governor's official residence at Top Town in Leh City since the clash in September 4 last year. These include children, women and elderly people. They would like to move back to their original place of residence but cannot because they are being threatened.
Sialum people now, they're willing to go back. So now Bung come up long, Tambalong or whatever, Huan district, this is the office, Leh district CEO Robin Cletus, chairman in this meeting today. An instruction from the governor, Honorable Kinson Sono. Long all can sit down and consider how we're going to move them from state to their origin place.
2 of the men were killed during the clash and more than 80 houses were burnt. The ethnic clash and violence in the country, especially in Moresby province, has left many people dead and homeless.
Me appeal long, usat all community leaders, one time usat all stakeholders, business houses, all government agency, inside Leh City, you make a contribute in something. Long help him or Sialum, long almost go back again.
The current living condition for these people here at the State House is not safe. Julie Badui Owa, National EMTV News, Leh.
Turning overseas now, search and rescue efforts continue on the Italian resort island of Ischia following a deadly earthquake. Among the rescued were 3 young brothers pulled from the rubble.
Minutes after the earthquake, dazed survivors escaped their ruined homes. Around them, in a blizzard of dust, buried cars and rubble-strewn streets. Several buildings in Casamigiola collapsed. Rescuers worked frantically to get to those buried. Here, the faint sounds of a baby crying. And after some careful digging, a small miracle. 7-month-old Pascali was safe. His brothers, though, were still missing. The earthquake struck as people were sitting down for their evening meal. The homes of some 2,000 residents were damaged. Some may have to be demolished.
The house is destroyed. We can't even get in. What should we do?
Falling masonry remained a threat as the emergency services brought in more resources. And then some good news. Both of little Pascali's brothers were found alive. His family survived. Others, though, are counting the cost of a terrifying night.
The United Nations has accused both sides in the Yemen war of killing and maiming children, according to a leaked report. It also says the Saudi League is blocking the delivery of much-needed food and medicine into the country. The 3-year war has created the world's worst humanitarian crisis, with more than 7 million people facing famine.
Many of Yemen's children have only ever known war. And Hodeida's central hospital is full of them. Victims of a conflict that has left their country battered, broken and starving. I first met Dr. Abdullah Zuhairi a year ago. He tells me things are now much worse.
We have started to see so many more cases of malnutrition. Now, it's not only the poor bring their children here, we are seeing cases of severely malnourished children from middle-class families too.
He takes me to meet Ala, just 3 years old. His immune system is failing. He needs intensive care, but there are no beds available. The war between the Saudi-backed government and the Houthi rebels is now in its 3rd year. The region's richest nation bombing its poorest. It's killed thousands and left millions homeless. With all borders closed, there's no escape. Even the refugee camp offered no protection for Mohammed and his family. Hodeida is Yemen's main port city. It should be a lifeline, but now it's barely operating after the Saudi coalition bombed the cranes and blocked their replacements.
And food should not be a weapon of war. Food should be a weapon of peace. It's 95% of all the food that we need to feed the innocent people comes through this port. If this port is bombed and completely made useless, literally hundreds of thousands of children will die and millions of people will die along with it.
You're with National EMTV News. Trukai Sports is next. We'll be back with the details after these messages. Stay tuned.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. The SPPNG Hunters are aiming to finish off the season on a high when they face the Tweedhead Seagulls this weekend. They played the Seagulls in their last match of the regular season before the semi-finals.
The Hunters' hard work all throughout the season has earned them the minor premiership. Coach Michael Marum says there is a good feeling in camp, but the players were urged not to get ahead of themselves, but to prepare well for the finals.
Hopefully they understand that, the major prize is still there. You have to work hard and get there. So finals football, totally different game. Some of these clubs might have their NRL players in there, but if we believe and we continue to do, prepare well, we'll be right there.
A few changes have been made to this weekend's team due to suspensions and injuries. David Locko will miss this weekend's clash due to injury.
Willie Minoga didn't train today. He's going to have him at back rower. He didn't train today. Nixon pulled out halfway through.
Stanton Albert has been cited by the Queensland Rugby League Judiciary. This will see Moses Meninga start in the lock position. Though Stanton has been cited, he will not miss the semi-final playoffs.
Again, with Stanton, with the incident that happened 3 minutes before full time, that's just not accepted. That sends a message out to everyone else that, you can't do that sort of thing.
Esausiune has been put back into the team after missing a few matches. Adex Wera has also been named in the centres. They plan to take revenge over the Tweed Heads this weekend after Tweeds placed last on the competition ladder caused the biggest upset of the season, beating the Hunters in round 15.
Now we're going to get off to a good finish again, finish strong, post confidence going into our finals in the next 2 weeks. But focus on this weekend's game. Tweed, they came up, beat us up here, so we really need to go down and make sure we play well against them and get the 2 points down there. So.
Elijah Levet, National EMTV Sports.
And the SPPNG Hunters have been granted a home semi-final after winning this year's minor premiership. The match will be played on the 10th of September at the National Football Stadium here in Port Moresby. Their opponents will be the team that secures second spot after the season proper ends this week. The winner of the major semi-final on September 10 advances straight to the grand final on September the 24th at Suncorp Stadium, while the loser has another chance the week after. Hunters captain Ase Boas has been nominated as the 4X People's Choice Award nominee for this year. He says he is privileged to have been nominated and also congratulated former Hunters Thompson Tete from the Redcliffe Dolphins and Justin Olam from the Sunshine Coast Falcons on their nomination. All 14 clubs have nominated a player each for the category, and the player with the most votes will be announced the 4X People's Choice recipient at the annual QRL Awards dinner on August the 30th.
Playing my part, and it's up to the fans out there. If I'm contributing to the team and bring the team this far, I'm not forcing you to vote for me. I'm just playing my part to bring the team, and it's our team, PNG. And if you want to vote for me. But we have 2 other brothers too in the other team, like Thompson and Justin. They're also part of us and going out there. So if you want to go vote for them, at least you put a mark for them, and me also if you want to vote for me. Otherwise, my role here is to bring the team all the way to the finals and hopefully win the cup.
The football and Papua New Guinea couples midfielder Jacob Saboa has signed with the Malaita Kings Football Club of Solomon Islands. Saboa's signing with the Kings comes as a bonus for the club's attempt to bolster their attacking ability in the midfield.
Saboa still in possession.
Jacob Saboa, who played in the World Cup qualifier stage 3 against Tahiti and Solomon Islands earlier this year, will now join Malaita Kings in the Solomon Islands National Soccer League, the S-League.
And from
the 23-year-old arrived in Honiara last Wednesday and played his first match on Sunday against Western United.
They finished above with Samoa.
Saboa said he's very grateful to the Malaita Kings for giving him the opportunity to expose his talent in the Solomon Islands Premier Competition. The soft-spoken midfielder hails from Buang, Moresby Province, and has been playing football since primary school.
Saboa, Foster.
The code has been part of Saboa's life from his early childhood to his teenage years, and that has given him a strong belief in his ability.
A chance for Papua New Guinea. Jacob Saboa, edge of the box.
The feisty midfielder had a short stint with Lay City Dwellers in the National Soccer League last month before his signing with the Kings. Saboa said his family in Lay are proud of his achievements and are all backing him to achieve his dream to one day be a professional footballer.
Saboa wins it.
Shane Soroya, National EMTV Sports.
He is on a yellow card from the first half.
Trukai Sports continues after these short messages. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome back to Trukai Sports. The PNG Basketball Federation has released the competition schedule for the Melanesian Cup title, which is only less than a month away. CEO Joel Kalu says the schedule will be one of the most challenging, meaning teams will have to come well prepared.
The FIBA Melanesian Cup competition program has been released, and it is now a challenge for the 4 countries of PNG, Fiji, Vanuatu and Solomon Islands to put all their focus on training and preparations if they want to be the best in Melanesia. Basketball PNG CEO Joel Kalu says from the look of things, there won't be any easy game throughout the tournament. The 4-day tournament expected to bring together some of the best players in Melanesia together. We'll see the PNG national women's team take on Fiji in the opening match, face New Zealand in the later match and Solomon Islands on Friday. The national men's team will have their opportunity for a rematch against their Pacific rival Fiji before taking on the Melanesian powerhouse New Caledonia on Friday. With no semi-finals after the preliminary round, all top 2 teams will go straight into the gold playoff, while 3rd and 4th will go into battle for the silver medal. Kalu says with success, their focus, a lot of strength and conditioning work for the national teams will be of high importance, and they have started working with PNG High Performance to get both teams ready for the big challenge ahead. He says from a spectator's point of view, it's certainly going to be an amazing show and one that will provide a real treat for fans of all sports. The FIBA Melanesian Cup will kick-start on Wednesday 27 September and ends on 1st October 2017. Godwin Eki, National EMTV Sports.
To boxing, Brett Vocoli, an international boxing referee from Australia, has confirmed an invite from the PNG Professional Boxing Association to officiate the September 10th boxing main event. He is expected to fly into the country on September the 8th and will conduct a seminar to train interested local martial arts coaches and match judges the following day. President of PNG Pro Boxing, Elwin Wafewa, said the one-day seminar will conclude with participants receiving internationally recognized certificates which will enable them to officiate in their own events. Wafewa said Vocoli will also assist PNG Pro Boxing in registering the association under internationally recognized organizations such as World Boxing Council and World Boxing Organization. And that ends Trukai Sports. When we come back, your weather details for Thursday. Stay tuned.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
The weather details are proudly brought to you by Dulux Weather Shield. Worth doing with Dulux.
A look at the weather forecast for the next 24 hours in the southern region, mostly fine all across the region. To the Momase region, mostly fine in Lae, some showers expected in Wau, fine, with some showers later on for Madang, Wewak and Vanimo. To the New Guinea Islands region, overcast and some storms expected in Lorengau, a few showers for Kavieng, Kokopo, Rabaul, Kimbe and Buka. And in the Highlands region, Mount Hagen, Goroka, Kundia, Mendi and Wabeg, these centres can expect some fine weather becoming cloudy over the next 24 hours.
The weather details are proudly brought to you by Dulux Weather Shield. Worth doing with Dulux.
And that's the news, sports and weather for today, Wednesday, the 23rd of August 2017. On behalf of the EMTV News team, pleasant viewing. Good night.